Hi, and welcome to this lecture on Old and Middle English, part of Lesson 1 in Field 5, History of the English Language and Literature, in the course English 6. We're going to start by talking about Old English. Old English is the earliest form of English, and it was spoken and written in Anglo-Saxon Britain from circa 450 AD until circa 1150. AD stands for Anno Domini, which roughly translates to the year of our Lord. And that means after Christ. So from the year 450 after Christ until circa 1150 after Christ, Old English was spoken. The surviving material from Old English only consists of 3,037 texts, amounting to only around 3 million words, which means that it's difficult to know that much about the language with this few texts and this little material. On the map here, we can see the different kingdoms of England at the time, uh, and in all of these parts, some form of Old English was spoken. Already in the first few centuries AD, Latin words influenced the languages of the British Isles. This was because of the Roman invasions of the British Isles in the first few centuries AD. Latin influences made their way into Old English in the 5th century, and was mostly ordinary household words, such as butter and wine, cup and candle, belt and sock, and street and wall. Vikings made their first appearance in Britain in the 780s. Around the year 900, Old Norse words started to influence Old English. Over 2,000 Scandinavian place names are still found in eastern England. Over 600 place names in Britain today end in by, such as Grimsby or Westerby. Some other examples of words which come from Old Norse are sky, saga, law, slaughter, awe, berserk, die, dirt. In this table you can see some different words, both in Old Norse, Modern English, and Modern Swedish, and we can see how they are very related to each other. The Modern English word sell, sälja in Swedish, comes from the Old Norse word sala. The Modern English law, Swedish lag, comes from the Old Norse lag. Loan or låna comes from lan. Träl or thrall comes from träll. Wing or vinge comes from vänger. Rotten and rutten comes from rottin. So we can see that Old Norse had a very big influence on modern English as well as, of course, modern Swedish. Middle English was the next variation of English, spoken from around 1150 to 1450. It is difficult to identify it as it lay between two eras with very much stronger definitions, Old English and Modern English, which is why this is called Middle English. It was in between two stronger eras. It started with the introduction of French influences by the Norman conquest of 1066, when William the Conqueror, a French king, took over the British Isles during the Battle of Hastings in 1066. By the end of the Middle English period, around 30% of English vocabulary was French in origin. The most famous piece of literature written in Middle English was the Canterbury Tales by Geoffrey Chaucer. One of the most significant changes in Middle English was the pronunciation change. A distinction was made between the sounds F and V, consonant sounds such as in grief and grieve, but also the consonant sounds S and Z, as in seal and zeal. Another important change was the spelling change. This was very much influenced by French. A normal U became OU, as in house, which had earlier been spelled hus, much like in Swedish. An H became a GH, as in night, and C became CH, as in church. The Canterbury Tales. The Canterbury Tales is one of the most famous and important pieces of literature in the English language. They were written by Geoffrey Chaucer, who you can see up here in the right-hand corner. The first four lines of the Canterbury Tales go like this. One that April with his shore soothe, the drought of March has perched to the root, and bathed every vein in swish liquor, of which virtue engendered is the flour. This can be translated roughly into modern English to mean, when that April with his showers sweet, the drought of March hath pierced to the root, and bathed every vein in such liquor, of which virtue engendered is the flower. As you can see, Middle English is not that different from a more modern English. However, there are still many words and mostly pronunciation which is very difficult to hear. In the lecture that you can find in the real lecture document, I will ask you to watch this YouTube video and listen to the Lord's Prayer, both in Old English, Middle English, and early modern English, to hear the differences between them. An exercise for you to do is to try and identify the following words in Old and Middle English: Father, heaven, kingdom, this day or today, forgive, temptation. We can see here the same parts of our Father in modern English in the middle, Old English on the left-hand side, and on the right-hand side we can see it in Middle English. The words to identify are Father, heaven, kingdom, this day, forgive, and temptation. So please read this and try to make out what these words are in Old English and Middle English and how different they are. I will read it in modern English for you once. Our Father, which art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, in earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. That was it for the lecture of today. I hope to see you next time. Have a great day. Bye.